Okay, so I've done all my fishing. I also went ahead and got most of the rest of the supports unlocked. I've only got like 3 left, I think, after I do all those. And I got a lot of fish to sell. I actually got a lot of Fodlandies, which was kind of cool. Never gotten that many before. Ooh, look at that. Beautiful.
This one, yes. I think this one, yes. I think this one, yes.
Anyway, I'm rich again.
I think this one, yes. I think you.
Feels
Return
good.
soon, please. Professor?
Yeah, okay. Do a little instruction here. So I think all this is going to be is the rest of these supports, and then the next videos are going to be paralogs, basically.
Thanks for...
Basically.
You are... I have a... You... Your God...
Nice.
I work... I have... I've got...
I'll get that. Thanks. That went.
Oh, he's probably not going to get much further than that, but it's okay.
Your.
Oh, whoops. Oh, whatever. It's fine.
This.
Yeah, homeboy here is not getting to A. I can tell you that right now. Right?
Professor.
Constance A. Oh, am I actually having a tea party with the one that isn't depressed? Okay. It's the type 1 one that I want.
We needn't stand on... You have my
I
gratitude.
think every other time I've had a tea party with her in all these runs, she's been the
How
emo
delicious.
Constance. Oh well.
Yes. Yes, precisely.
Oof, I'm tired.
Well. Oh? Well. Should you decide to lend your aid to the restoration?
Yep.
Well. I could grow a...
The battlefield. There must be more.
I'm glad
I'm looking sharp.
Intuition's all I need.
Good job, guys. You all did it. Okay, supports. Away we go.
Here again, I see.
Of course, Your Majesty. I couldn't investigate this place freely when those of the church were around.
Understandably. Now, about my proposal to create an institution for Crest and Relic research. I've decided to move forward with it. As for who will lead the charge...
You want me to be in charge of the thing after all, don't you?
Actually, no. I was just considering some conditions for whoever applies for the job.
Conditions? What kind of conditions?
To start, I won't allow the position to be a secondary one. That excludes lords who are busy looking after their own territories.
Are you suggesting landholding lords would have no means of applying?
Quite the opposite. I'm looking for applicants with enough passion for the job that they're willing to relinquish any landholding rights they possess. They will be provided with necessities like food, clothing, and housing, but will receive no further compensation. That said, they will be free to take as much time off as they desire.
Do you expect anyone to be interested in such an odd position?
That's my hope.
Have you gone mad? Demanding someone rescind their land rights and then provide no compensation? Even the unlimited time off is a rather discourteous perk to offer. No one would accept room, board, and endless time to research. No one but me. Why must you...
Why must I what?
Why must you understand me so well? I asked you to consider the feelings of those below you. I never expected you to consider mine to this extent.
I told you I'd figure out a way to make use of your talents that you'd find acceptable.
Honestly, no woman has ever gone through this much trouble for me before.
Then have you decided?
Yes, I have. I would be most pleased to accept your offer, Your Majesty.
Ah, young Edelgard. This is your first time in this room, yes?
That's right. When I was a student, I avoided this place. I couldn't allow the church to learn of my crests, after all.
True enough. But now you have come here by your own choice. Can I take that as an indication that you have come to trust me a little more?
I suppose so, though I'm still bothered by certain things.
Tell me, what things might those be?
Well, we're fighting to free the world from the church's control and to unify Fodlan. You must have some idea of what the world I'm seeking to create will be like.
With the world freed from the powers of crests, Fodlan's system of nobility will collapse.
Precisely. Our current system is founded on the fact that crests are inherited through blood. If we shatter the status quo so that those without crests are no longer at the mercy of those with them, the very concept of nobility will vanish.
Why should that have any effect on me? I am no longer a member of the nobility.
Perhaps the fate of the nobility is of no consequence to you. But what about that of crests? You've devoted your life to unraveling their secrets. Whereas I seek to create a world where crests are no longer valued. In fact, I would prefer to rid the world of them entirely if at all possible. Does this not concern you?
I see. I think I finally understand why you've always seemed so unsure about me. You imagine your ambition might crush my dreams. I assure you, there is nothing to worry about. I support your plans and your ideals wholeheartedly. But at the same time, I also believe that the influence of crests will not be so easily quelled. That is why I must continue to research them and unravel all the secrets they hold.
I see.
Something on your mind, Edelgard? This may not be the best place to sit and think. An archer might try to take a lucky shot at you.
Right you are. I appreciate your concern. In here, I'm trapped in a whirlwind of political affairs. I just needed to escape for a moment to get some fresh air.
I understand completely. May I ask what was on your mind? I'd like to help.
To be honest, I still can't forget what you told me before. I don't want you to misunderstand and think I'm against everything the church represents. There's good there, buried in the corruption. Still, I find it extremely difficult to step back and accept the good, overlooking all the rest. For the world to start anew, it's necessary for the nobility system and the Church of Seros to both be completely crushed.
Perhaps. I suppose that might be the only way for you to achieve your goals.
I believe so. But then I think about people like you, who are devoted to the goddess. People who are unlike the others, who are willing to fight for themselves rather than leaving everything in the hands of a higher power. When I achieve my aim, I'll be crushing your emotional and spiritual support. Yet despite all that, you're still here, still supporting me.
Don't worry yourself about that, Edelgard. People are always weaker than you think, but never as weak as you expect. The goddess is our silent foundation. She watches over our every step, but never gets directly involved. You, on the other hand, want to support us with your own flesh and blood, to push us forward toward a better future. As it were, some problems require drastic measures. I believe you know that better than anyone. It takes strength to take those measures. That's why you inspire people. You're probably why some of them get out of bed in the morning.
You're too kind.
Now, I've just been around a bit longer than you, that's all. While we're on the subject, yes, the goddess does supply me with emotional support. But so do you, whether you know it or not.
What do you mean by that?
Just what I said, my dear. Just what I said.
Now I'm blushing. Let's change the subject, shall we?
As you wish. I think I've said quite enough as it is.
Hello, Ferdinand. Wait, that aroma.
Your nose is as sharp as ever, Hubert. Yes, it is a bag of fresh coffee beans.
Why did you buy coffee? You said you don't care for it.
My stance has not changed. Drab, bitter, with that muddy texture. If I have even a sip, my hands start to tremble.
Rather harsh. What are you doing with it then?
Well, you see, but wait a moment. What is that? Is that an imported tea from the East?
It is indeed. Keen eyes.
Flaunting my favorite drink right in front of me. And you do not even drink tea. Fiendish. It is for Edelgard, I assume.
Before I answer that, I would like to know what you are doing with the coffee.
Well,
Is it a gift? Perhaps for someone you fancy?
A gift, yes. For you.
Who is the unlucky... Did you say for me? This coffee is a gift for me. Have I heard you correctly?
Yes, that is what I said. A noble does not go back on his word. Just take it.
I should decline.
Why?
The thought of receiving a gift from you, unbidden and unreciprocated, fills me with revulsion. Therefore, accept this tea as a gift from me.
From me? Are you certain? I would hate to deprive the intended recipient of such a fine tea.
That would be difficult to do, since I bought it with you in mind.
Oh, in that case, thank you. What? You were planning to give this to me all along?
That is what I said.
Really? Only one thing to do. We must take a tea break.
Very well. But tea is not what I will be drinking.
Of course. I will make you some coffee.
Then I will prepare the tea.
How the crimson rain of pain it came, falling hard upon a land aflame, when the sacred blade it split the sky until the heavens heard our cry. In the hour of vengeance will you heed the call? On the red fields of revenge will you help avenge? We must fight strong and stand tall.
Oh, Ferdinand, that song.
Manuela, hello. What a treat. It is most rare to see you at the training grounds. I have never had the honor of sparring with a princess. Why not grab a sword?
Ferdinand, that's called changing the subject. That song you were singing, is it the one you said made such an impression on you?
So you heard me. I hope it was not too grating on your ears.
You've nothing at all to be embarrassed about. I'm pleased if one of my songs stayed with you like that. Oh, it really takes me back. I remember the big battle in the first act. How the crimson rain of pain it came, falling hard upon a land aflame, when the sacred blade it split the sky, until the heavens heard our cry. In the hour of vengeance will you heed the call? On the red fields of revenge will you help avenge? We must fight strong and stand tall. Wow. My heyday is behind me. That's for sure.
No, that was wonderful. Exactly the voice I recall from my childhood. To have witnessed this performance in such an intimate setting, I am deeply moved. I cannot stop trembling. I feel as though I am going to cry. You have shaken me to my very core.
All right, Ferdinand, relax. I can see that it's affected you deeply.
You made a little boy's cherished dream come true. Perhaps you can help realize one more.
Another one? And what would that be?
Would you do the sword dance with me? The one that accompanied the song? It had a part for a male performer, if I recall. I would be truly honored.
I'm sure I can't do it as well now as I could then, but you're just so adorably... you. I can't resist.
Thank you so much. That has long been a dream of mine, and you made it a reality.
I gotta say, Ferdinand, you're full of surprises. It was like dancing with a pro. Perfect timing, always in step.
All thanks to you. You inspired me.
Or perhaps it was you who inspired me.
Lately, I've noticed that our lunch times seem to coincide with one another's, and
Oh no, am I bothering you? I am, aren't I? I knew you were getting too carried away, Bernie. I mean, it's no wonder you don't want to have lunch with me anymore. Just having me around probably makes your food taste awful.
My food tastes the same as it always does. I was merely stating a fact about our lunches coinciding.
Oh.
But I am curious as to why you want to eat with me. It isn't that you...
Please forgive me! I'm so sorry. I've been using you to avoid people. The truth is, hardly anyone ever comes near us, and it's been such a relief.
That's it? Well then, I don't mind.
Huh? You don't?
When last we spoke, you mentioned feeling a kinship to me. So I wondered if you were thinking that we may be kindred spirits of a sort.
Oh? I mean, of course not, Yuritsa. I didn't mean anything like that at all. Kindred spirits? Us? totally hypothetical here, but, if I did think we were kindred spirits, would, there be a problem with that?
Yes, there would. The reason I dislike people is because if I don't keep my distance, it is only a matter of time before I kill them. If you continue spending time near me, death may find its way to you.
Oh, I see. I'm not quite sure how to say this, but I'm willing to take the risk. I mean, we're in the middle of a war. I could die at any point now, even tomorrow. So, if being near you means feeling comfortable during my final hours, well, that sounds like a pretty good deal to me. I wasn't entirely honest with you just now about the whole kindred spirits thingy. Want the real truth? I actually think we are. You and I have a whole lot in common. We both had a dark, troubling past. We both built walls around ourselves in response to that, to keep people out. Me, I take all my past hurts out on myself. But you, Yuritsa, you take yours out on the world. Maybe that's why you harm people. That was really overstepping, wasn't it? I'm sorry!
Professor Hanneman, how unexpected.
Hello, Miss Dorothea. There is something I would like to ask you, should you have a moment.
And whatever would that be, Professor?
Ah, it's just some rumor I heard about your prejudice against the nobility. You remember when you came to me before, and we talked about how I used to be noble? I was just wondering what your aim was.
To clarify, I only hate nobles who are obsessed with their status. You're not that kind of man, Professor. I mean that, really. And it sounds like you never were.
I see. But hating nobles obsessed with their status, you must have had some terrible experience in the past. Ah, my apologies. That was rather presumptuous.
No, it's fine. As I'm sure you know, I was a highly praised songstress for a time. Before I was a singer, though, I was an orphan. And before that, I was the daughter of a noble's maid.
My goodness! From an orphan to a renowned songstress. That is quite a life you have led, Miss Dorothea.
Well, I don't remember much of my early years. My father was never there, and my mother was driven out of the noble house where she worked. Before long, she fell ill. I was always alone, and I lived in the alleys of the imperial capital, just trying to survive from one day to the next.
I see.
Eventually, after I became a singer, I met the nobleman that I think is my father.
Oh.
He'd had a child with a maid, but the child didn't have a crest. So he threw them both away. Those were his very words. I can't prove that he really was my father, but I suppose it doesn't matter. He didn't know who I was. And when he flirted with me, my feelings were something beyond fury. I was dumbfounded. In truth, I felt that way about all of the nobles who flocked around me, yet would just as easily have tossed me away should it better suit them.
You have my most heartfelt of apologies, Dorothea. I am afraid my curiosity has opened old wounds. Sadly, it is undeniable that the nobility is full of such terrible people. Perhaps even myself.
Professor?
Oh, it is nothing. Just lost in a memory of my own. Just know that I will do my part to ensure that you always know kindness in this world.
Thank you.
Dorothea? You look as if something's terribly wrong.
I do? Oh, nothing's wrong. Not really. I've just been thinking about the future. And what happens when the war is over.
And tell me, what is your vision of the future like?
Well, I'm not entirely sure. I guess I don't know what to expect. In my life, I've met all sorts of people who've lived lots of different ways. So now I'm trying to figure out how I want to live. I'm free, unlike so many people. I have the ability to take control of my own fate. Like you.
Well, I quit the opera to join the Officers' Academy as a professor. Then I joined this war because, well, I don't know. I'm hoping for an end to it. Peace for the world. Even though I took control of my own fate, I still haven't found the man of my dreams.
You'll find him. He's out there somewhere. You know, there is one thing I want for the future.
So, you've got a dream after all.
Well, it's a dream I've always had. You'll think this is silly, but I'd like to stand beside you.
I don't get it.
When you left the opera company, I took your place. I stood center stage and sang, and everyone cheered for me. I wish the cheers were for me and you. I wish we stood on that stage together.
I have to tell you something. The first time I saw you on stage, I felt you were the one I wanted to hear sing. I already had plans to leave the opera company. But when I met you, I knew I couldn't leave until I saw you take your rightful place. You're right, though. It would have been nice to stand beside you on stage, even just once.
Maybe we weren't together then, but we're together here, now. And in the future, maybe it won't be so bad if you never find that man of your dreams.
What do you mean by that?
You and me. I won't find a guy either. We can just be together. I think that'd be pretty nice, don't you? Living together and doing whatever we want.
Huh. You know, that could be nice. It'd be like you and me, finally together on stage. The lights shining down, our gowns and jewels sparkling. Just us.
Sparkling in the stage lights forever.
I see. The sunlight brings back painful memories in you.
I'm afraid so. Please forgive my behavior from before. I cannot abide these indiscretions of mine.
That's all right. The way you always work so hard day and night, it's no wonder it's had this effect on you. You work harder than anyone I know. I've always been impressed by that, Constance.
That means a lot to me.
You know, at the School of Sorcery there was a professor who specialized in magical cures. Why not write her a letter? Perhaps she can suggest a treatment that might help.
I have tried. She could do nothing for me. But I vowed then to the goddess that I would find a way to overcome my trials. I will prove my skills to the goddess and everyone else, bringing me closer to restoring House Nouvelle.
You're a tough cookie, Constance.
Naturally, and with your support, I shall grow ever stronger by the day.
I know you will. You know, during the years of political turmoil, House Martreats was destroyed just as your house was. But restoring my father's house has hardly crossed my mind. I guess I'm not as tenacious as you are.
You needn't be so hard on yourself, Mercedes. You have had other priorities since then. Oh, I've just had a grand idea.
What is it?
You ought to try to reinstate how Smart treats.
Oh dear. I'm not sure that's possible.
Nonsense! If I can restore my own house, then you can restore yours. As we work to further our own life goals, we shall learn so much that we can share with one another.
You make it sound so simple. How would I even go about that?
That is simplicity itself. You shall become a prodigy at spellcraft, as I am.
All right.
I shall master the black arts, and you shall master the white. The world will know us as sister sages.
I see.
Our names shall ring out across Fodlan, earning us the titles we rightly deserve.
I hope you won't mind me saying so, but this plan seems to have gotten a bit far-fetched.
Oh no! Not if you join me, Mercedes! Where one may fail, together we are bound to succeed!
She has such big plans, perhaps too big. In that way, at least, she's exactly the same as when she was little.
I must thank you, Emile.
Why?
You came to my aid in that recent skirmish. I loathe being in anyone's debt, so I brought you something as thanks. How it warms my heart to see you taking my advice about learning to work with others.
I do not recall.
You don't recall working with others? Or you don't recall coming to my aid?
My memories from battle are always a blur. The creature that you saw is me, and is not me.
That sounds perfectly meaningless, and yet, I may know exactly what you mean. That aside, this should serve to balance the scales between us. Here.
This...
It's the same variety of flower you would give to me. Those many years ago, I found it at a florist in town. Though I suppose your memory of those days isn't as sharp as mine.
I remember this. I gave you a rose when Count Nouvelle brought you along on his visit to House Bartels. I used to tend to the roses with Mercedes and Mother in the garden.
So you do remember. The garden of House Bartels did tend to make an impression.
Mother and Mercedes were always so blissful when they spent time there.
You picked a rose and gave it to me, like the knights in the stories. Your story took a tragic turn. Time has had its way with you.
I thought the same upon seeing you.
Your sympathy is noted. Of the two of us, only I could be said to have aged gracefully.
That is not what I meant. We cannot go back in time. That was my meaning.
Do not be so hasty. Anything lost can be regained. The garden may be gone now, but that will change once I have rebuilt House Nouvelle. You'll see when you walk into the grand rose garden I shall have planted in the center of the estate. You'll come and see it, won't you, Emile? Along with Mercedes and your mother, of course.
You believe you are capable of that?
With you assisting me, it is practically guaranteed.
Is it now?
Some will undoubtedly take forceful issue with the restoration. That's where you come in. What a privilege I am granting you to play a part in the return of my noble house. A smile spreading across your face? Now that is a rare blossom indeed.
Only when in the company of a select few.
Okay, that should be the last large batch of supports I've got here. Everything else, I think I'm only gonna have like 5 supports left, something like that. But that'll be next chapter. This is just going to be paralogs, like I said earlier, before I realized I still had, like, more supports left than I thought. So, hope you enjoyed them.